So the Carolina Panthers have actually benched Bryce Young, former 2023 NFL draft, number one overall pick, just to see where it started to where it is now. It's ugly. And I think for Bryce Young to have the pedigree, number one quarterback prospect coming out of high school, went to play for Nick Saban. That's not easy at all. Won a Heisman Trophy there, played some very good football there. Then we saw all of his talent on full display. Now, as he became an NFL prospect, he was one of the best NFL prospects that you will see, minus his height. We talk about processing on the football field, having the mental capability, being a leader, being able to run an offense, and being able to make the throws necessary to succeed in an NFL offense. That was Bryce Young. And to see where this thing is now, I don't know what to say. Truthfully, because this is breaking news. This happened just about 15 minutes before I record this video, so this is real. Everything you're about to hear. I want to know down below in the comments, but we also got to talk about a few things. I'm surprised by the move because if anybody knows what it takes, and if anybody knows how important your confidence is when trying to rebuild your NFL career, when trying to rebuild your NFL status, understanding what Bryce Young was in year one. The supporting cast wasn't great, but Bryce Young wasn't great either. So, okay, they go out. They draft some pieces. Jatavian Sanders, Jonathan Brooks. He's not playing right now, but that's another offensive piece that they added. Then we look at, okay, you bring in Xavier Legette. They're trying to do things. They spend a ton of money on this offensive line. You look at some of the guys they brought in here, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt. They're spending money trying to help Bryce Young. And I think for Dave Canales to put Andy Dalton as the starter, what message does that send to your football team? But not just that, what message does that send to Bryce Young? And the reason I say if anybody can understand this, you have to know Dave Canales' history a little bit. Dave Canales was one of the integral parts to Geno Smith and Baker Mayfield's NFL resurrections. And if we know about those two quarterbacks, it's been an up and down slope. Geno Smith really struggled coming out of West Virginia. Then he had his resurgence. They wrote me off, but I didn't write back. That was Geno Smith. And guess who the quarterback's coach was? It was Dave Canales. Then you go a little bit further. You think about, okay, Baker Mayfield, he's shining right now with Liam Cohen and what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have running over there in Tampa Bay. But it started with Dave Canales rebuilding that confidence, making the Tampa Bay front office look at Baker Mayfield with a keen eye and saying, this is our guy we want to move forward with. This is the guy we're going to give our money to. We're not drafting a quarterback. And then they go out there, they retain Mike Evans, who they had to pay a lot of money to. They draft Graham Barton. They put assets into Baker Mayfield, but it started with Dave Canales. For Dave Canales to make this decision, I'm truthfully looking for words because I just don't get what is the message coming out of this. If I'm Bryce Young, my confidence is already shot. Through two games in the 2024 NFL season, Bryce Young is 31 of 56 passing with 245 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and he's taken 6 sacks. Through 2 games, the Carolina Panthers lost their first game 47-10 at the hands of the New Orleans Saints. Then they just lost their last game 26-3 to the Los Angeles Chargers. What is the upside of putting Andy Dalton as the starter? Because if you make a move like that, now for Bryce Young, how do we get back to him? And even if we get back to him, it's one thing to say, okay, you know what? Maybe you're not feeling the best. Maybe you can't play at 100%. I don't think this is an injury at all. I think this is understanding what the current state of the team is. And I think Dave Canales feels that Andy Dalton is the best guy for this team right now. But I look at Bryce Young and I say, Coach, even if Andy Dalton gets into this football game, is he going to make us win? How can he be, even though Andy Dalton is a veteran, he was pretty solid for the Cincinnati Bengals, but still, I'm the future of this franchise. I was just the number 1 overall pick last year. I could see if it was a situation where, okay, you look at Justin Fields, you look at Russell Wilson, we can kind of say, based on what we've seen, now understanding Russell Wilson has a Hall of Fame resume, but I think as of late, we can kind of say, okay, these two are comparable. Andy Dalton doesn't give you a significant chance to win over Bryce Young. I sincerely don't believe that. And I think for the team, now how do you buy into Bryce Young is the future? Because what if they go out and win with Andy Dalton? Or what if they go out and lose with Andy Dalton? And now Bryce Young is looking at it and saying, look, it's not me. And I think for David Tepper, for Dave Canales, for everybody within this front office, on this coaching staff, and we're talking about the entire team, because the defense, 47 points to the New Orleans Saints. J.K. Dobbins just had one of his best games of his career last season. So you're looking at that, and from the top down, this football team is struggling. I'm not a big fan of this move. And Carolina Panthers fans, I want to know what you're thinking as of right now. Because like I said, if anybody understands it, I thought it would be Dave Canales. I knew what it took to help Geno Smith get back on track. I knew what it took to help Baker Mayfield get back on track. Why am I doing this with Bryce Young? And I think for it to be so early in the season, it's only week 3. And I'm at a loss for words. This is just where I'm at with it right now. I don't see how you go from investing all of these assets, Xavier Legette, Jonathan Brooks, Jatavian Sanders, you draft him as well. All of these assets, your first 3 picks on the offensive side of the ball. We talk about free agency, Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt, all of these assets into the offense. You make a trade, you go get Deontay Johnson. Everything was pointing towards Bryce Young is our guy. And just 3 weeks in, we're ready to sit Bryce Young down. I don't think this is just a Bryce Young issue, but I think this makes the Bryce Young issue a little worse. If I didn't have any confidence and I'm Bryce Young right now, I definitely don't have any now. This is not a wake-up call, because if it was a wake-up call, Bryce Young wouldn't be the only one getting benched. When we look at this football team and how they've been performing, there's a lot of blame to go around on this football team. And I'm really not even the one that likes to assess blame, but it's just what it is. When you watch the film, the Carolina Panthers are a bad football team right now. I really had high hopes, but right now it's not clicking for one reason or another. And for Bryce Young, now this feels like I'm the problem. I want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. That's just what I have right now. That's where I'm at with it. Not a fan of the move at all. I think it shoots Bryce Young's confidence, the little that he probably had left. And I mean, as an athlete, as a competitor, you want to be out there with your guys. You want to continue to get better. How does he build rhythm if he's not playing in football games? How does he build continuity with Deontay Johnson and his young receivers if he's not playing in football games? What's going on in Carolina? I think, like I said, I look at David Tepper, Dave Canales, I'm shocked. I really thought coming in here with an innovative offense, getting the football out quick, balancing the run game, none of that has worked thus far. And I'm not ruling out Dave Canales as a good head coach. I'm not ruling out the future of this football team. But this is a move that I can't side with. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more content just like this, because we'll be back. We got some film to get into. We got some more videos to talk about some teams. But for now, we out.